Microphone check, 1, 2. Who is this? Excuse me, clearing my throat. Welcome to the Wash. This is Jude and the Wash. And here is my pandemic lockdown from Lakewood / the Long Beach area. I think it's been about a little more than a week. We've been in lockdown. I believe we're going to be in lockdown for about 3 weeks. I think that's what old Government Newman has said. 3 weeks. Businesses not really shut down, but takeout only. No gathering outside, no masses. It's empty. Long Beach is officially dead. I was down at the beach today, and guess what? It was dead. There was hardly anybody there. And when you go down to Long Beach, Cherry Beach, Wanapira Beach, whatever the name is, I don't really know the name, but here's what I do know. It was dead today. There was nobody hardly down by the beach. It's like that song Boys of Summer by Don Henley. Nobody's by the beach. I don't know the rest of the words, but that song comes to mind. So we're in the pandemic out here, and it's cold. Night times in California are cold. I don't know if you've seen any other of my podcasts. Well, not seen, if you've heard. I haven't had the visual yet. I will have video for the Wash. It is coming soon. Hopefully I'll be joined by Dubs and a few guests from Zoom locations, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the whole Zoom. I don't know the whole technology or the verbiage that goes behind the whole Zoom conversation. Just somebody's going to be on a screen from another place, another state. They're going to come in and we're going to chop it up. Chop. Salud. Sorry, I had to take a sip. But anyway, there's a darkness in the air. The first pandemic lockdown, I think it was back in March. I mean, I took it sort of as a joke. Downtown Los Angeles, they didn't. It was kind of like a ghost town. But when I come out to the Long Beach area, nobody really obeyed it that much. But now everybody is obeying it. The streets are deserted. The beach was deserted. There's a few people down there. There's a few strangers walking around. Of course, families, transients, drug addicts. People who are primarily always outside are still outside. But it was good. It was good to get away and go to the beach. They say vitamin D is good for you. It's good to fight the COVID, and exercise is good to fight the COVID. So definitely go out and fight the COVID. So I actually wanted to do this podcast a few days ago, but I thought, man, I'll just do it today. I should have done it a few days ago. I just got real busy. I'm in the process of trying to put together my docupod called The Rippercast with R. Michael Gordon, and he's talking about Jack the Ripper. So I'm putting that together. It's been taking a lot of time. I'm trying to get Amazon to sign off on my book cover. Lust, jokes, and religion. 3 topics that sort of are the running themes in this anthology of short stories which I have written and I want to bring to you. It's my first self-published series of anthologies. I published 2 books before, but that's the past. I'm looking for the future. So now I'm working with Amazon, and Amazon is shooting my book cover down left and right. So as soon as when they get this book cover situation done, I'll have a link and you can be the first one to jump on Lust, Jokes, and Religion. And you won't be disappointed. It's a series I call Pocket Gossip. Why do you call it Pocket Gossip? Well, because when you read these stories, I mean, like if you're on an airplane, in an airport, on a train, taking a long trip and you decide you want to read, I think reading is something that we should not put by the wayside. Reading is very important. It's fundamental. So these are stories that are entertaining, and it's almost like somebody is sitting beside you and telling you these stories, but stories are on paper. So if you get a chance, check out Lust, Jokes, and Religion. So there's 2 things I want to talk about today. Number 1 is I wanted to tell a short story. And number two, I wanted to sort of talk about something that I saw on a sign. It won't be that long. I won't keep you. I want to keep these pandemic lockdown podcast solo casts, whatever they are. I want to keep them shorter than usual. So one thing came to my head. I remember being in high school, my senior year of high school. We have the high school yearbook. Now, I'd been to 3 different high schools. I was never really involved in the yearbook too heavy. I didn't participate in yearbook club. I didn't give a lot of pictures. I played basketball. That was it. I was never really big on school. I was never really big on attendance. I didn't like school. I like to go when I wanted to go. I'm a deep sleeper. I am not a morning person by any means. I don't wake up till 10 o'clock in the morning. So high school is very challenging to me. So I went to 3 different high schools. First 2 were Catholic schools, and I, just didn't really want to continue going to the Catholic schools. I had a couple reasons why I didn't go, which are inconsequential, but choices were made. So I said I just go to the public school I've been avoiding my whole life. So I graduated from Gateway Regional High School. That's in Woodbury Heights, New Jersey. And like I said, I think it's off the 26A, or 26 to 25A or B, I don't know. But it means the middle of nowhere. Nowhere South Jersey. I went around that area recently and nothing ever changes. Maybe a new Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe a Walgreens. Maybe a Walmart might go up. Not around my way, but, different stores will go up and older stores will come down. I went to Gateway Regional High School, and I was never really into school. I patrolled the halls. I, study hall. I went to Catholic school. Or parochial? Parochial? Catholic school, private school. Well, the private school. I can't pronounce parochial, so maybe I should go back there. But, I don't know. Those R's and A's that you reach down deep in your throat, I don't know. Maybe it's a Saturday thing. My tongue's not awake and my mouth's not awake. Anyway, so I remember being in a high school. And people can't see it now, but I have really good skin now. As a teenager, I had horrible skin. My skin looked like a battlefield. I looked like I stuck my face in a microwave. My face was very bad. I was very ashamed because I had a lot of acne and acne scars on my face. I was always breaking out. I couldn't stop it in my face, my back, my chest. My teenage years were horrible. It was a horrible initiation into manhood. I was embarrassed. That's why I used to wear hats when I was younger. I didn't wear hats because I liked them. I wore hats because they covered up my forehead, which my forehead was always acne covered. There was never a time, I would say from the age of 12 to about 18 solid years of heavy acne. Heavy acne. It was a nightmare. There was no going to girls. There was no talking. There was no dating. Even if there was, my self-esteem was so low just due to the acne. Yeah, there was no chance. I hated looking in mirrors. I hate looking in mirrors today because back then when I used to look into a mirror, I used to always see a new pimple or acne scar or something I could not pop. And it was horrible. So my confidence was very low. Then I liked to play sports, so that just made my situation even worse. So, but there was one saving grace. That when you got your senior pictures, they buffed out all the acne and made you look beautiful. So in your senior pictures, you can look beautiful forever. So we went to get our senior pictures taken. I got my hair cut, for the style at that time that fit me. When the yearbook comes, okay, cool. I'm gonna look because there's actually kids in my class when I was in senior year who had way worse skin than me. They did. I won't mention their names, but they know. I don't like to put anybody on blast. Bad enough putting yourself on blast. Anyway, so the year, but towards June you graduate. You walk. We walked on a thunderstorm. I remember when I walked my senior year, we walked. A thunderstorm was on the horizon. As soon as the principal said, "You guys graduated through Hatsuniya," then torrential rain poured down upon us, almost like this movie. Almost like a movie, like Quentin Tarantino directed our graduation. Public school graduations are very loosey-goosey. I remember having one death threat. A girl didn't want to walk next to me. I won't go into that for different various reasons. You can't even threaten anybody's life these days. Back when I was growing up, you could actually threaten someone's life. You could actually say, "Hey, I'm going to get somebody to shoot that guy." So I don't have to walk next to him during graduation. Her name was Gina something. Gina Capatri, I don't know. Some kind of long Italian last name. It's like when somebody Italian tells you, "Hey, I'm going to get somebody to shoot you," you got to kind of take that serious. Maybe somebody Irish or German says, "Hey, I'm going to get somebody to shoot you." Go ahead, get out of here. You're crazy. But somebody Italian with a long name with a lot of vowels in it, most of the letters are R's or P's or S's. Says, "Hey, I'm going to get somebody to shoot that guy." You take it serious. I was just hurt. It's kind of some kind of motorcycle. I don't know. When I do a podcast, that's when people want to practice wheelies in a residential street. Anyway, I was more hurt that, man, it's just one on top of another thing. Like, boom, they keep coming. And it's cool, man, because it just made me a stronger person in life. And, she's a fat bitch anyway. Some South Jersey, probably still in South Jersey. I don't know, probably married somebody who, I don't know, is a mummer. I don't know. She wasn't even pretty back in high school, so I could imagine how she'd be right now. Either way, I don't care. I can't even pronounce her last name. But I'm just trying to say, back when I was growing up, you could actually threaten someone's life. Baccalaureate. It was baccalaureate. I had to walk next to this girl at baccalaureate, and she made an announcement in high school. I don't want to walk next to him at baccalaureate. Now, there's various reasons. I don't know. I got one reason, which was very disturbing. But maybe she had her own reason. I didn't talk to her. Maybe it was a very good reason. Maybe Gina was just like, "Oh, I just don't want to walk next to him. He's taller." Or, he has acne. Or I don't know what the reason was. But you can't do that today. No, you just can't do it. So, it made it a 10th baccalaureate. So right there, the baccalaureate's already in 10th. And I'm getting to the end of the year. I'm waiting on my yearbook. But I'm just trying to set the mood. I'm just trying to set the atmosphere of my last year of high school and where I attended high school and what it was like. Because when I waited later on to junior college to talk about my high school years, I was told I was so quote-unquote angry. About the same type of people. You know who was angry, though? Sonny was always angry. Michael always had to calm Sonny down. Michael hardly ever got mad, but Sonny was a mad guy. He was mad. Sonny was a mad guy. But when Sonny gets mad, it's cool. So anyway, the baccalaureate thing happened. So I'm like, okay, because I just want to get out of there, man. I just want to get out. I did 2 years at this plain Jane, middle of nowhere, like I said, average high school. I made some friends there. I had some very good friends there. But it was not influential on my life. It did nothing. So, came the time for the yearbooks. And I can't wait to get my yearbook. Just to have it. I've always been like sort of a yearbook, school jacket kind of guy. Like I'd see people buying the high school Letterman jacket, and I was really into that. But I had gone to so many high schools, I didn't know whether to get a jacket or not, so I never got a jacket. Comes the yearbook, I get the yearbook. We all go around, have people sign our yearbooks. Turn to the page. I'm the only one with all my blemishes still in the picture. I'm the only one with all my blemishes. All my blemishes are still there. I'm the only one in the whole yearbook. Everybody else's face, filtered, beautiful. My face, acne. Acne, blotches. I look horrible. I don't even know where the yearbook is. I mean, so who do you blame? I mean, spiritually, you can say it's the devil. The devil's stalking me, trying to break me. You can blame the yearbook staff, which Nicole, head of the yearbook staff. I wrote her on Facebook and I said, hey man, I like how I was the only one that you didn't do the proper, because you have to pay for that. You have to pay for your pictures. My pictures were cool. The pictures I got to take home and give to my parents and family, that was cool. It's just a picture in the yearbook. Had all the blotches and all the acne. So I think it was done on purpose. But maybe Nicole, or maybe people Nicole knew, that whole nerdy, loser yearbook staff. You know who's on your yearbook staff. You know the cretins. You know the beta personalities, the people who sit in back of class, quiet, don't say a word. They sit in the corner table in the cafeteria and they hope a food fight doesn't start. They wear flats. All their clothes come from like J.C. Penney's. These are the people that were in charge of yearbook staff. You don't even know their names until yearbook comes out. They're just the people like that girl. I didn't know her name was even Nicole. It's just that girl. I think her dad was a guidance counselor or something in the school. I don't even care. Guidance counselor. Nowhere public high school. Maybe I'm being hard. But I mean, so I'm like, man, like I can't catch a break, man. I can't catch a break. So if my daughter, any of the children I decide to have, want to go look at my yearbook, they're going to see me with elephant man tumors on my forehead. Now, some of you are probably very happy. Some of you would probably love to hear that because people love to hear other people's pain. And that's cool because it really doesn't hurt me. It's all right. It's only high school. Not the best time of my life. Definitely not the best skin time. To a high school I dreaded going to, and this was bound to happen. Maybe it was just fate. Maybe there was something deep inside me that knew, and you went to this high school, this is what was going to happen, so we need to just hit these other schools up. But South Jersey that time was just not a nice place. It was a horrible place. I don't know if it got any better, but hey, I don't care. Got to be strong, people. And don't be afraid to express yourself. I did nothing wrong there. I took a picture and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They lacked in their job. They were lazy. They were shiftless. They were lazy and they were shiftless. They cut corners. They didn't care. They gave a bad product. Maybe they got in maybe they got in through a relative. Maybe they got in through a program. Maybe they got in through a program. But they definitely didn't know what they were doing. They were definitely horrible. Nicole, you did a horrible job. And your staff of hills from the eyes have hills, flunkies, basement dwellers. Yearbook club is the kind of people that make Glee Club like the football team. Or better yet, make the Glee Club seem like cheerleaders. Like, I don't even think you volunteer for yearbook. I think it's Like, you've had no power your whole time in school, so this is the only time you've ever had power. So what do? You get into your book. You pick the pictures. You best eyes, best funniest person. All that high school bullshit means nothing in the real world, because all those people who get elected to those dubious achievements wind up being nobodies anyway. You know, I think our Mr. Athletic or Mr. Best Body or something winded up being in jail for murder, and the other one was I think a male stripper in Jacksonville, Florida. I heard he's strung out today. If he's even still alive, I won't even say their names. Not worthy. So I'm not going to pick on people who've been to school with them. You got to understand, the high school I went to started in 6th grade. So all these people knew each other until senior year. I was the new cat. So of course they're going to pick on the new cat. I was popular, but not, I was popular, but by proxy. They didn't know me. There's a few other kids who came in later, and they were cool. Like, I remember Dan. Dan came from Washington State. He was a cool cat. I think he was only there like 2 or 3 years. Everybody liked Dan, gravitated towards Dan. He wasn't one of the kind of know your neighbor since you're 5. Dan was cool. Believes he's a teacher and basketball coach in suburban Philadelphia. Very successful right now. Good guy, Dan. Very good guy. Cool cat, man. Always been a good guy. Most people I meet from Washington State are good guys or good gals. Even though I hear they got that Seattle freeze, so I don't know what that is. Don't try to be Hollywood, because you can't. Tech and Hollywood seem the same, but it's totally different. Okay? But I overcome it. Came it, whatever. I've overcome it. So I guess it's better if I say I've overcome it. But we all go through our hurdles in life, man. You just got to keep moving. And let these little fish flounder. Even though flounder is a fish. Let them flap on the side. They have their little moment to shine. Who are they? Who are they today? Small potatoes in the French fry patch. I don't want to even say their last name. But Nicole is a very bad girl. Very bad. Okay, so now that I got that off, it's a story. I like to tell a story. Maybe I could connect with somebody there. If I have, hit me in the comments. Nobody ever comments, but you can always comment. Say, hey, Dave, maybe can insult me, and I'll insult you back. The next thing I want to touch on was a sign that I saw through Instagram or Facebook. What it was, I'll cut straight to the chase. It was 2 pictures. One picture was sort of a cartoonish, two cartoonish duos, and one was a white couple of you like androgynously cartoonish characters going up a fence or a tree. Another was a black, androgynous sort of cartoonish duo going up a tree. And it showed the white androgynous cartoon figures pushing each other up, while the black androgynous cartoon figures held each other down. Now, it's all very subjective and up to the scrutiny of context. First, I don't know that these even serve a purpose that's positive. It's almost like a self-lashing. Remember they say when the monks used to do something wrong, what they would do in medieval times in a monastery is if they sinned, they would take a strap and they'd whip their back. But what did they really learn? There was no learning moment. They just whipped their back. Because here's the thing. There's no such thing as race. And I'll continue to drill that into your propaganda-filled or your propaganda-waterlogged heads. There's no race. There's only ethnicities. Every ethnicity has crabs in the barrel, not just one. They all have crabs in the barrel. Every culture, every religion, every group of people do not automatically help each other. They don't. Every group has crabs in the barrel. If you look at Asian culture has a very strong rumor culture. Like with Asian culture, if you mess up and you get caught in the middle of that rumor mill, it's like your life's over. Family's dishonored, so you don't want to be caught in that rumor mill. But the littlest thing can get you thrown there. If somebody decides they do not like you, if somebody decides that they want to get ahead of you, if somebody decides that you disrespected them, if somebody decides that, well, it's time for you to be taken down a notch. In the Asian countries, you're going to feel it. That rumor culture is no joke. That's why there's so much respect. Because you don't want to be the one thrown in that rumor mill. Because that rumor mill will destroy you. In America, rumors and gossip, we are susceptible to it a little bit, but it doesn't run our lives. There's some cultures they live and die by the rumor culture. So that's crabs in a barrel. Same thing. But you're getting ahead, somebody hits you with a rumor, you're on the rock bottom again. Crabs in a barrel. Latino culture, same thing. Doesn't matter which country or which island. It's the same thing. For example, from Central America, from different parts of South America, parts of Mexico, parts of Canada, Nigeria, wherever people come from, but like the Latino sort of countries, people come over this country to find an opportunity to work, to make money, to improve their life, to improve their family, and they should. Look, I'm like, however you get here, you get here. Make it work for you. But a lot of these people, unfortunately, get arrested and turned into ICE. Now, here's the key. It's not people who are non-Latinos. It's Latinos turning on Latinos. Why? Because the average person on the outside cannot tell who is illegal and who is not. It's only people in the inner community that know this. So when you see ICE coming to take down a family that's been living with a group of cousins illegally because they've escaped the death squads of El Salvador and want to come up to the United States and work some below minimum wage jobs so they can save some money, pitch it together, and find a nice house in Riverside. And now they have to go back to El Salvador and, probably die. That's Latinos that turn them in. Because nobody else knows. And you just can't contact a federal agency with bullshit. You don't want the feds on your case. So that's Latinos turning in Latinos. Again, crabs in a barrel. Okay. So let me take a twist, a historical twist. Okay, I'm going to take you somewhere real quick. Pay attention. Okay, so America was a new country. It was a country on the verge. It just freed itself from England, but it was mostly agricultural. Okay, the original workforce were indentured servants who worked. They got to live off what was the land, and whatever they owed, they could eventually buy their freedom. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but the only problem was with indentured servitude, you were free, but your kids were still belonged to the master or the owner. CEO, whatever kind of semantics you want to twist it. CEO, slave owner, master, gentleman of the house, or whatever makes you float your boat. Okay, but it's all basically the same thing. Sweatshop owner. But here's the thing. Your kids stayed. You could go, but they knew people would not leave their families. But here's the thing. These indentured servants turned into sharecroppers. The original people who worked these cotton fields, soybean fields, tobacco were white sharecroppers. So they tried to unionize. And then these owners of these huge plantations, which are basically companies, like Del Monte. I don't know if Del Monte involved themselves in slavery. I don't know. I don't think they do, but it's like Del Monte. Just a big company that dealt in tobacco, hemp, cotton, vegetables. So what happened was these very rich men, because mostly men at the time that owned property, and that's something to say in itself. I mean, if you have a white woman and a white man, and the white man is holding the white woman back, that's crabs in a barrel. So what happens is they needed a workforce. So the Portuguese learned from the Muslims about the slave trade. Because originally it was Muslims who started slave trade. And they didn't just trade African slaves. They also traded white slaves. They traded these white slaves to the Ottoman Empire. If you ever hear the Ottoman Empire had black and white slaves, black and white eunuchs. So they had white slaves. So they were, yes, actually white people who were slaves. They'd be captured in battle, they'd be bought from Ireland, or they'd be bought from Europe, brought over, poor people who had no standing, no protection. Eastern European people who were kidnapped would be sold into slavery by the Muslims. But the Muslims also taught the Europeans, which were the Portugueses, the Spanish, about the African slave trade. So eventually, these European nations talk, they fight, they conquer each other, they intermarry, and the Europeans, England, the American slave trade was late. They were late. It was already outlawed in England, but the colonies, it was late. So they said, hey, we're gonna bust these unions up. They can't unionize. These sharecroppers can't tell us how much we're gonna pay them. They can't sit up here and tell us what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring in a prepaid workforce, which that's all slavery was, a prepaid workforce. You can look at it now as far as the brutality of slavery and all that. I don't know. Hollywood has put a spin on everything. All I know is take all the emotions, all the color, all the semantics, everything out. It was a prepaid workforce brought in to displace the sharecroppers that were already there. Okay, so now we have white slave owners displacing a white workforce, a poor white workforce that just wanted a few pennies, that just wanted some money, just wanted to, hey, maybe one day I can have a plantation. I can buy a piece of property. No, you can't, because I'm rich and I want it all. So they brought in a prepaid workforce, displaced the sharecroppers, and most of those people couldn't even find work. Many of them starved. Many of them starved to death. The only jobs they could get is overseers or slave catchers. So that is crabs in a barrel. That goes against that little poster hanging up that says this group helps their people and this group does not. It's human nature. It gets past color. It gets past religion. It gets past gender. It gets past. It boils down to plain and simple human nature. If you read the Bible, people were dragging each other down left and right. There's some innate force in man and woman that does not want each other to succeed, not even in the family, not even family members. People leave themselves open to jealousy. They leave themselves open to envy. But here's a real problem with that. Is when people take a problem and they say, well, it's just our problem. And they beat themselves over the head with it. This is just us. Only we do this. We're horrible. Causing an even interdivision among the already divided groups. It's human nature. But it's almost, people have been conditioned to be hard on themselves. Every group in America holds themselves down from the inside. Whether it be wealth, family name, part of the country they came from. You know, there's Sicily and there's Italy. You know, there's Berlin and there's, Austria. Different parts of Germany. How many parts of Germany is there? All German people don't get along. All people in Spain don't get along. There's civil wars going on in those countries right now. Their civil wars have lasted centuries. Like, we're a new country. America's new. These countries have been hating each other for centuries when they were tribes. You cannot win a race if you keep looking to the left and you keep looking to the right. And that is what that poster is for. It's not to tell you that, look, you're holding each other down. Because everybody does it. Common sense. But what it's doing is it's making you look to the left and to the right. And while you're looking to the left and the right, people are running right by you. It causes doubt. Your reactions are slow. You can't win a race unless you're looking at the finish line. If you're looking at the people you're competing against, you're going to lose. Just please show me a sprint where when the sprinters take off after the pistol that they're looking at each other. No, you got to look at the finish line. It's all about the finish line. I think if more people were focused on the finish line, they wouldn't get caught from behind. But that's also confidence in yourself. And I believe that's been taken through a lot of things: is self-confidence, self-love, self-admiration. What do I know? There's just jewels I'm dropping during a pandemic lockdown. I have nothing else to do, so I might as well talk into this microphone and build content. So it's been Jude in the wash. If you listen to this, cool. If not, it's also cool. I'm making more. But just have a good night. Take care. And don't catch the COVID. Don't give anybody the COVID. Just remember vitamin D, exercise, sunlight. Fight against the COVID. Don't listen to everything that you see on social media or TV. And I will talk to you later. Okay? This is Jude from Jude Plus signing. 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 This is Jude from